One of the most beautiful things to portray in the world and to capture even just a little bit is the love of a parent for a child.
Welcome to the Inspirational Art Association podcast, a place where artists from around the world share what inspires them with Cindy Lattimore, an art curator and promoter who brings with her 13 years of experience. Settle in, get comfortable, and enjoy the behind-the-scenes exchange with not only world-class artists, but up-and-coming talent as well.
Welcome to this episode of the Inspirational Art Association podcast. And today we have Rachel R. Christensen. Welcome, Rachel. A little tongue-tied
Hi,
there.
Cindy. Thank you so much for having me. It is such an honor to be a new part of the Inspirational Art Association and be participating in the show for the first time this year.
Well, I was excited to get your application, saw your artwork, and that you put with your application, and really excited to have. We always like new people, and we're excited for you. A little bit about Rachel is that she was raised in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, before attending BYU to study fine art. I see that you studied under Patricia McMahon Rice. She came last year to our photo shoot all the way from New York. So
that doesn't surprise me. She loves a good photo shoot.
She does. And then you French Impressionist. I love that artwork. So anyway, Rachel, you sent me your latest piece, His Other Father's Love. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about that piece?
Absolutely. So this piece was a rather special one. I've loved religious nativity art a lot. It's a depiction of such a special private moment, of the birth of Christ, this amazing person who was going to change the world. But it was also a very private mother, in this case, adoptive stepfather and Joseph and baby moment. And so I did do a piece of Mary and the baby Jesus, but in this one, I really wanted to focus just on Joseph and the infant Christ. I think one of the most beautiful things to portray in the world and to capture even just a little bit is the love of a parent for a child. And although Joseph was not Jesus's biological father, and he very much knew that, it's so clear from the New Testament how much he loved him and everything he did to take care of him, to teach him in every way possible within Jewish society, that he treated him as his own and loved him. And in the same way, I think it's very similar to the love we see of adoptive parents, step parents, foster parents to their children. So I wanted to see if I could capture just a little bit of that in this piece.
Oh, are you going to have this piece at the art show?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I created this one for the art show.
Well, and I think this subject matter is so incredible. I know there's a lot of, in fact, we just came across a family member that didn't know his whole life that he had been adopted.
Wow.
His parents did not know that, did not want him to know that they were not his biological parents. And when he did find out after their passing, it kind of rocked him a little bit. And I mentioned to him, it doesn't matter who fathered you, who was the man that raised you, who was there. And that helped him quite a bit. But yeah, a lot of times we were in Mary's shoes, how overwhelming that could be. But you never think about Joseph's situation, because he was actually, their custom was to put her to death, for whatever. But so it's always been a very touching story. So I'm excited. I know you sent me a copy of the that we're going to have on this podcast when we advertise it. So thank you. So what made you get into painting?
Oh, well, that's a little bit of a long story. So, on my mother's side, one of my great-great-grandfathers was John Hafen, who helped found the Springville Art Museum, was one of the church's first art missionaries. He painted the murals in the Salt Lake Temple. So I kind of grew up hearing a little bit about that and about our family's history with fine art. My mother studied illustration at BYU back when when she was in college. And so I always grew up with a little bit of a foundation in art. She was always introducing us to how to draw and how to see the beauty in these everyday things. I thought I wanted to go into children's book illustration at first, but took an oil painting class on a whim in college and just loved it. And so since then, I've kind of focused a lot on representational art. My husband's in the Marine Corps, so we have moved around a lot within the last few years. So I've been able to study with a lot of different artists, Susan Lyon, with Patricia Rice, and I'm currently working with Casey Childs here in Utah.
Oh, yes.
So I've been really, really blessed to learn from some amazing people, and I'm pretty passionate about figurative work. I'm not sure there's anything more beautiful than the human form and the greatest creation.
Oh, well, we're excited to have you. What made you apply for this show?
I saw some friends who had participated in it last year. Stacy Minch was one of them.
Yes.
And it looked like just a beautiful conglomeration of artists. And I love Christmas so much. So a Christmas show was especially exciting.
Yes, yes. And there's such a feeling and atmosphere there that you're not the same once from the time you walk into those doors to when you walk out. Your life has changed forever. And what's nice about the show is, as I've mentioned in other previous episodes, this is where you can talk one-on-one with that artist, and you can really connect with the piece when you hear their story. With this show, just a few weeks away, is there anything you want to ask about what to anticipate? I think at the mandatory meeting, I try to walk through every aspect because it's not a normal show.
No, you have so much experience with this larger art world and with the show in particular. How many years have you been doing it now?
This is my 12th. Yes.
The 12. Wow, I can't even imagine. I didn't even know what an oil painting was 12 years ago. What advice would you give to someone coming in the first time like me?
Oh, well, you know what? I find so much joy in that because this is not the art world can be competitive, but it's so nice to be in an atmosphere that's not competitive and that you network. And then this is a place for the church to come and find your work to put in their public, because they're always looking for new artists, new talent. And so it's always exciting to have them come. Some say, why do you do it for 4 days? Well, opening night is so exciting that it's hard to really see everybody's work. But then it gives them a chance. Different galleries. I have a gallery coming from all the way from the Midwest coming to, because they want to bring this type of art back into the Midwest. But gallery owners, publications, artists, people that are writing novels so that they can have artists. So this is a great place to be found. And also afterwards, I know there's many artists that get commissions from this show that carry them on that far past this show. So there's so much that you take away from the show, and lifelong friends, very much so.
That's the best part.
Yes, it is. And just the spirit of Christmas, of course. Rachel, it's so good to visit with you and get to know you a little bit better. Wednesday, November 30th is opening night, and that's RSVP. But the other 3 days from 10 to 9 daily, we're just off the mezzanine. And they moved us from the Bonneville room a couple years ago because they decided they needed more office space. So they put us up on the mezzanine. But it's be exciting to have people come and meet you, see your art, and get to know you just a little bit better.
I can't wait to meet everyone as well. Thank you so much, Cindy.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too. Bye.